I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. I've had at least three JPs call and tell me they would like to make it. Two of them are out of town and one of them's on a mission of mercy here locally. Oh, I did not see that, so thank you. We got nothing really huge, but we got several small things. The judge is coming. He's gonna be a couple minutes late, but what I'd like to talk about first, we don't have to have him for it. Just a real quick overview of the monthly expenses and where we're at in relation to the year. May 31st puts us at 42% of the year. And have y'all really paid much attention to the new forms on the, well, we're finally at a point, and I don't know where Kelly, is Kelly coming?
She was out in the parking lot.
Oh, that's what I was thinking, I saw her.
Yeah.
Okay. But.
Yes.
There he is.
Just about.
Oh, no, we're just starting. And all I was doing, Kelly, was talking about the reports now and how they're coming now. You know, when we ended up the year last year, it wasn't all together. We had part of the old system, we had part of the new system, and it was hard to correlate everything.
Didn't have what?
Now then, we've got everything in this year's in this system, and it's much easier to read and figure out where you're really at, and it's very similar to the old reports that we had, maybe just a little bit more detail. But, you know, when I go through and look at it, I highlight the office, and then you can follow the expenses and various departments within that office, and then you go to the bottom, and find where, the percent of the year is, to see how they're doing. You can see 3% that may be over in certain line items or departments. So it's real similar to the old one, if y'all haven't really paid attention.
Right, that printing in color, it looks like prints in red. The ones that.
Well, the ones that are negative do.
Wow, that makes that easy,
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah, and the department totals and the department heads print in green. I've just highlighted some stuff. That's just me. I'm quirky. So anyway,
No kidding.
if you take time to look at it, it's much easier to read this year than it was trying to put those two together last year. And looking at the overall comparison with us being at 42% of the year completed May 31st, and look at our all of our elected officials, everybody's within budget or below. The winner of the nickel would be, I guess, the county clerk would be the winner of the nickel at 34%.
She's saving money to get the road paid.
Yeah, all that money I'm saving, I can get my road paid. Yeah.
And looking at major departments, the road department is 49%, which is slightly over budget, but that's not unusual because we're buying gravel. You know, we're buying all the gravel we can get and haul. And so that's where a lot of our money goes. Landfill shows at 50%, but that's misconstrued a little.
That's correct. It is actually operating, it's 39.35%.
I mean, that's just.
That 500, that transfer.
That $500,000.
The actual operation is 39.35.
Senior citizens, been lots of discussion this year regarding them. At this point, they're at 39% of their appropriation. County jail's at 37%. So, I mean, we're working within our budget, guys, and the elected officials and department heads are all doing a really nice job of everything. Is Peggy coming? And looking at the fund balances, she should have emailed everybody fund balances. Our fund balances are healthy. $750,000 just in our checking account in county general, 6.9 in our CD fund. So at the end of May, we had 3.85 in the revenue replacement fund, but we've gotten our second check. I mean, just last week, I got another 3.9 or so right there. So again, a really healthy position for us to be in. Economic development, a little over $3.5 million in their general account with 7.8 in their CD fund. Their total's running 11.4 million. So, you know, we're just doing good. Thankfully, the Energy and Property Committee has kept a really close watch on our construction project. And we have almost 1.9 million in the, Bible bond issue, of which we still owe about $1 million of that, but we ain't paying, so. And we still got 48,000 in the Osceola construction project. So, our fund balances are well.
Kelly, and we have not taken care of the, birds, so that will.
Come out of the 48,000. Get a bunch of it.
Get a bunch of, I think so, close to 30.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh, get a bunch of money, yes.
Yeah, get a bunch
I'm
of
thinking
money.
birds.
Get a bunch of birds.
Let's hope we get all of them.
Is that already, the wheel's already been put in motion on that?
Yes, I emailed Tom about that, was that last week?
Yeah, I think they're supposed to, come on site this week to do that.
These are the spiky things, right? What did we go with? I forgot.
It's.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
It's a netting that goes underneath there, but it's kind of like a metal, a mesh, is that right? Am I remembering? It's, I hate to say it, I don't remember, but it is supposed to last quite a while. I think it will, it's metal, it's not plastic.
So it's just gonna keep them away, it's not going to.
Right, they won't have anywhere to roost. Yeah.
They can't buy it, well, it doesn't mean that they can't get it.
Maybe across the street.
They will, you're right.
Yeah, move.
Maybe, yeah, move over.
Yeah, maybe across the street.
I mean, it is long, once they get there. We still may need some sort of like noise. Something else.
Working down our agenda, guys, you know, early last year, we were trying to encourage all of our employees to participate in the vaccine program for COVID-19. And so we offered an incentive, program whereby we'd pay the employees, you know, a few dollars to take their shots. If that thing is slowly wound down and continues to wind down to the point where it's zero, nobody's requesting any incentives, and, Kelly wanted to just at least talk about timing that thing out and closing the program out. Correct?
Basically, yeah.
Well, when's the last time we actually had anybody request one or anything?
We just did a payroll for it for, it was just one person, right? It was just one person, but, I mean, that's like almost the only person, there's, I think, only 2 people this whole week. So, that's right.
Yeah, that's been almost.
Yeah, so this year there's been 2 people and we just don't have any interest in it, or not that there's, I guess everybody that's gonna get it has gotten it.
Yeah.
And if, you know, there was no date in that ordinance to, you know, to end it, and so we just wanted to know if you were interested in having a date, and then if so, we could unappropriate that money, and
How much is still in there?
it's about $21,000 is left, that we could put
Pretty
that in the, if you wanted to.
Guys, any thoughts?
So we appropriated enough money for everyone to get the vaccine, is that how we did? Yes. So how much did,
How much did we spend?
yeah, how much did we spend? How many people do you think?
I don't know. I mean, there was, I would say at one time, I think we looked and there was probably over 50% of people that got it. So, but I don't know the exact dollar amount. I brought the ordinance, but I didn't bring the schedule.
That's okay. I was just really curious, I was just more curious of
Yeah.
how many people, you know, what percentage of people actually got it. That's good.
Over 50%.
To actually end that, we'd probably need to amend that ordinance to put a closeout date. The good part of that would be that, it'd free up to 21,000. But at the same time, I'd be a little remiss to not mention the fact, we're actually at 100% of our publishing dollars that we've appropriated. We've done so many ordinances and resolutions so far, that we have to publish in the papers. So it costs us every time we do publish it, but without amending that and closing that out, that remains almost in perpetuity.
And it would go back into the
County general.
county general.
No, it's ARP,
Oh, is it ARP money?
the revenue replacement fund.
Oh, it is, isn't it? I'd be lying. That goes back in there. You gotta keep trying.
I'm gonna have one more unless I've returned hers in.
She did.
She did, okay, good deal.
Was it for employees only or family members also? I didn't.
No, it was just employees.
We don't have to make a decision right now. We can let her ride another month if you want to and see if anybody else comes in, but at least be studying and thinking about that. And we can look at it a little bit closer next month if you like.
I know there's a little, for the last week or two, there's been little
Yeah,
uptick.
it's like, should we use this time maybe to notify the employees that it may be, the window may be gonna close? So they have some sort of, so they can be thinking about too, whether or not they want to participate? That complicated for you?
It's not a bad idea.
I think so, and if
Just
we're
kind of give
already.
fair notice that we're gonna
Yeah,
be looking at
that-
approaching the
Yeah,
program.
I've got plenty of money in that fund, so it's not like we really need to. But, I was just thinking, I mean, if it's gonna cost us money to do it, we should maybe just wait till the end of the year, or the beginning of next year.
Okay.
To actually amend the ordinance, I think, I mean, if it's not hurting anything.
You know, and really that was one of the items on the agenda, and all I was gonna do was just mention it in view of the budget up here. The fact that we have spent a lot of money this year, on publishing costs. Also, in every department that has fuel, you can imagine where that's going. All our fuel costs are really going up, that'd be in the landfill, and the road department, and the sheriff's department. You know, everybody's, really running their fuel costs up. Just nothing, no action, just notification. You know, we realize that, we see it and realize it. This kind of falls back to you, Circuit Clerk's ran over in the other building.
Yeah.
We've not, what we appropriated to, June?
Well, we did, but we actually have enough money in there to go for August.
We do now?
Yeah, the note I sent you said I was gonna check on it, so when I did, we do have enough to get.
Give us the August.
Yeah, if you think that's enough.
I don't think we'll, no, we probably need to go ahead and appropriate through the end of the year. I don't know that we'll ever be able to move all the stuff out at this point. You know, we've talked about it several times, that we're gonna need a storage place for the oldest records.
Well, if we got enough to go through August, we don't have to do it today, but we can, just to, at least again, you know, looking ahead and thinking and talking. Any closer,
Courthouse does have, it's a certificate of occupancy, so we are closer. That's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I will note that the judge's face was red when he came in, so that doesn't have anything to do with that.
101 out.
No, but it did, yes, did get the certificate of occupancy last week, so that's, yeah, good news.
What about that punch list?
You know, I'm gonna defer to the judge on that one, I haven't seen any emails.
I've got the punch list here, and I believe they have been emailed a copy. And so we are certainly working in that direction. I do believe things are beginning to come together. I'm happy with it. It's a beautiful building. The CG has worked through very difficult times, and we've come through. I think we're close. I won't estimate exactly when. I haven't been right yet. So. No, I think we'll be much closer than that. And I think I'll have some more information to shed on it maybe within a week or two.
So I did hear there was actually a wedding.
Yes, we've had the first wedding there. We wasn't inside the building, we were outside, but, yeah.
Well, it's pretty enough outside to do one.
Yes, it was. It was a beautiful day and a beautiful wedding. We had family and friends there. It worked out very well.
So is the punch list complete?
It is complete. I'm not sure that that's probably technically what we should refer to it as at this moment. I think it's more of a list of items that need to be completed, because a lot of that, the things that we have to go is not even begun, and it's like the entryway into the closed parking lots, that the mechanism that's going to either read a key fob or security code has not been installed. The windows has not been installed yet. The storm windows. And there's several of those items that we really probably shouldn't punch or use that term until after all this thing is completed. But I'm very satisfied.
Coming out of your office, and we may need to talk to Tom, your choice, office equipment for the veterans office.
Yes, the new, veteran service officer had come in, a few months ago. No equipment really to speak of, and what equipment was there was older and outdated. He did not know what was in front of him. Still has a lot to learn. Has all met the certification standards now, and he has his, documents that he needs. Actually, he just got the major one like last week. Drove to Little Rock and picked it up and came back. But he does need some equipment and able to move around the county and do his, the job he has. Tom has the total there, on the equipment that he's requesting.
He's got a list of certain equipment in here, and we don't know at this point if that is everything he's gonna need. An estimated ballpark of about $2,500.
You think that's all?
Well, I'm looking at the list and I do not see printer as I'm looking at it, so I don't know that it's all. But it is the entire list he sent.
He has mentioned to me about cutting corners and trying to use different printers, in which I have discouraged him. I think he needs the equipment he needs in his office. That would be my suggestion, is add the printer to it, but.
Well, if he's asking for 2,500, if we put it at 3,000.
Oh, that would cover everything.
That'll cover everything, shouldn't it? I see.
Tom, what do you think?
I don't know all of his needs, but I think that would,
Put him a long way anyway.
yeah, definitely.
I'll make a motion to appropriate the 3,000 to veterans of, office equipment, for equipment.
I'll say. Got a motion and a second that we appropriate $3,000 for office equipment for the veteran service officer. Any other discussion, guys? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same thing for your office, Judge.
Yes,
Need some computers and monitors?
ours is basically the same way. They're older computers. Software needs updating, hardware needs updating. My computer is in good shape. I got it in 19 and I haven't had any problems. I'm still fine. So I don't think there's not one for me on there.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So this is the 3 in the outer office.
3 computers, 2 monitors, what are you talking about?
The 2 monitors are 32-inch curved monitors, and that would be for Cindy and for Lexi. And then my monitors are fine. And then 3 computers to go with it. We're talking about 4,347 is the estimate that we got on it.
I hate doing exact numbers. I'd rather make it 4,500 or something.
Our printers are well used, but we had Norris look at them. He thinks there's still some life in them, so we're gonna keep with what we have until we get to the point we need to replace them. We'll let you know.
So
This being public money, we want to try to do it conservative.
So do you guys have do you have a scan, is it all in one? What kind of printer, do you have one in there?
You can scan with it. It's black white. It's color, and
Okay.
it's good, but it's well used because we use it so much. But it's functioning fine. We had to change out the drone from time to time because
That's good. Well, I know that we had talked at one time whenever we was moving back into the courthouse, to try to consolidate as much of it into one, so I didn't know if you guys were an all-in-one printer right now or not. Okay.
Guys, I'd like to make it 4,500 instead of 43, 47, if that's okay.
I move that we appropriate $4,500 for upgrading, the judges.
Office with computers and monitors.
I'll second.
Got a motion and second that we appropriate $4,500 for at least 3 computers and 2 monitors in the county judge's office. Any other discussion?
Is this gonna be on top of us?
How much is in there?
There's 8,000 for each, like for the veterans, personal equipment, and the judges budget. Personal.
Let's just make it on top of,
Okay, on both.
yeah, please. So, $4,500 going once, going twice, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? And apparently our public defender, he's renting his office.
Right.
From a gentleman that would like to raise his rent.
Right. I have a letter an email that was sent to me, and I'd just like to kind of tell you what it says. So it's from Frank Iacampo, and he said that he owns a building that the public defender's office is in. He's purchased it and made extensive repairs and upgrades, and he continues to do so. Mr. Bradley pays $300 a month for about a quarter of the space in that building. He has 2 suites, one with a private restroom. He has also a second suite. He is currently renting the other suite with a private restroom for $450 a month. He's renting a suite without a private restroom, but with access to the building's men and women's lavatory for $375. What he's asking is that the rent go up to $400 a month. He says that effectively it's 2 suites valued at $825 for slightly half that price. He's a wonderful tenant, hopes to continue to do so in the future. So he's asking to go from $300 to $400 per month.
Business people in town with
Rent's going up everywhere. I mean, that's par for the course, and that's low rent for commercial rates.
well, that was my thought, that y'all were involved in that.
Yeah, I don't know that I can go anywhere.
I mean, no, and
So y'all can support this rent increase?
as a real estate property owner, I could, yes, absolutely. I am too.
We really don't need anything particular right now other than just a motion of approval and acceptance, if that's okay with y'all. So can I have a motion that we accept Mr. Frank's, request for $100 per month increase in John Bradley's rent?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, got a motion and a second that we just send our approval, to Mr. Iacampo's, request for $100 a month increase from $300 to $400 a month for the, public defender's office. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Can you get a hold of him?
I'll do it.
Tell him we're fine with his increase. I'll do it. Yes, our side. Judge, you wanted to talk a little bit about the land levy out at the county farm.
Yes, we have finished the survey, in spite of the weather, the rain, kept raining south. There's a lot of that being done this spring, this summer. We've got 311.56 acres of farmland. We've got, of that, on the cut sheet shows that we've got 138,821.58 total yards. So, I think we've got the draft completed on the bid, publication, is that correct?
I believe
So we're ready to go, and maybe even go if we went to the first opportunity, that would be Saturday.
Yeah.
So it'd be 2 weeks after that before the bid would be awarded. And we can estimate what that would be, but with the diesel prices as they are, I'm not sure that the industry standard is gonna remain there right now.
That it does.
We could do one of two things. We could give a ballpark figure and appropriate it. But like I said, it's gonna be 2 weeks before it gets out there. And then, give a few days after that to receive the bid, and then, you know, what we could do is just wait until we had those numbers and then come back. Slow us down, maybe 2 weeks at the most, which is kind of a big deal in the summer months.
It is.
If we're gonna get it done this year.
Could cost us another crop if we're not careful. Just catch a long rain
That's right.
sometime or something.
So, or we could, not do anything, and if it's in line with industry standards, allow me to award the bid, and then we won't fund it until sometime after that, before they start work, because they're not gonna start work for 2 weeks anyway.
What are you hearing now? What's the latest numbers that you heard per cubic yard?
About $1.80, and then, but you have to, that's not including the fuel surcharges. If it goes up, you know, a lot of them will say if it goes up to, you know, a certain tier, that they would need more, and then if it goes up to another tier, they would call more. That's how a lot of contracts are doing.
Judge, are they, if my memory serves me right, when we looked at this 3 or 4 years ago, they were advocating 2 wells and kind of a terrace.
That's correct.
Is that still the general plan?
I think so. The estimates that I have here do not include irrigation. It's just the dirt work being done. But yes, I believe that it will end up as 2 wells.
That's
I
what
think that
was
was on the
mentioned.
map or something, we looked at it, I mean, we had some map.
And this one, the only thing, this one would differ from the previous one. This one would have levee roads that encompass the property, which I think would give us a little more latitude in exactly what it's called.
That's my inclination, is honestly to give him the authority to award the contract and then we'll fund it later. The judge is very familiar with the process and what's going on. I mean, he's a farmer himself and understands the language and the fees.
So moved.
Got a motion that we support the judge, awarding the contract at his discretion, and then we'll fund it later. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Judge, is that okay with you?
That'd be good.
We don't need a formal resolution or anything. You
No.
just got all our condolences.
Right. Yeah, you understand the basic financing of it. Could cost somewhere that's reasonable in that line.
Right. Good. I think Mr. Tom wants something else. He's wanted a lot today. but
Mr. Henry?
I spoke for other people, understand? Okay, so, you know, when we got this video equipment, we said that we would, work at it, and then if we had other needs, we'd come back. So we have numerous comments that say that the audio is not loud enough to hear on the videos. Additionally, if we're in OCL at the full quorum court, you know, there's a great deal of distance between the camera and the court members, and spread out. This is a $60 camera, boom camera, okay, and it's just not getting it done. So I have looked for some professional. I don't have one picked out, but some professional boom cameras that can get the job done. Hopefully, they can be up to $800. So I just wanted to, I don't have one picked out today specifically.
Would it have an auxiliary microphone or anything with it?
It would be just like this, attached, but it would, be a higher quality, right? And then, of course, when we move into the Belleville courthouse, then we've got excellent, stuff already in works. But this will get us where these meetings are better, and then the Osceola with the distance people can hear.
And the Belleville courthouse, that'll all be built in.
But it's amazing to me, the number of people that tell me, I watched y'all's meeting the other day, and they're talking about our committee meetings. We had an attorney from Jonesboro in here just before you came on ago, and she said, I've watched some of y'all's meetings before, I didn't know how well it spoke to me, but
Did they mean I watched them because I couldn't hear?
well, the comment was made, one of them was kind of hard to discern what was being said.
Also, to give an update, the number of people that are watching is increasing, but also are the comments that they can't hear. So,
If we're gonna do it, and I think it's been a good thing that we're doing it, let's do it right.
Well, I agree. Is there any way we could look back and see, maybe what Stephen had, I know that he had some equipment. I don't think he had any issues with the volume.
Well,
Some of
Whenever-
his equipment was.
when I went,
All that belonged to him.
It was, I was just saying, we
What he
know it
had.
worked.
Before-
so-
before I got prices on what we have here, I contacted him and said, what did you have and what do you recommend? And so the list we went off of was actually off of Stephen's recommendation.
Uh-huh. I wonder why I didn't get it.
I bet he spent more money than we did.
Maybe.
You know, it was very new then, and it may be that there wasn't that much, people viewing it, so there wasn't a lot of complaints.
Well, yeah. I think we need to upgrade to get where they can understand what we're saying. If they're gonna look at us, they need to hear us.
Well, the system that's in not the existing courtroom, but the new courtroom at the Liable Courthouse is, elaborate. It's got a point tilt zoom, and it's got a fixed, and it goes through, a mixer.
Yeah.
So, it is gonna be very nice. Personally, I think Mr. Henry is lowballing. I would probably put something in a little bit more, because we're not talking about a professional grade camera, are we? Are we talking about, we're not talking about something like one of the news stations around here would carry.
No. I'm just going on a professional grade, not saying, I did not look and say what is, the most expensive top of the notch that you do on TV. And I'm not telling you this is what I want yet. And I'm still trying to do good research. But that seems to be the ballpark.
So you're not asking for money today, you're just asking for kind of moral support and saying, go for it.
It's up to you on when y'all want to kind of do, but I'm telling you it's coming, and I'm going to be asking for it.
Okay, good.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna video, I think they should hear us.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing, and get something that you think's really actually gonna work.
Mhm.
And we do a good job.
So you happy with this right here, or do we need to ask?
No, I think we should probably do a little bit more research and come up with something that we know is gonna do the job. I think it's an important part of our meetings, and Mr. Henry goes to a great deal of trouble lugging all that equipment around, and there's no use in doing it, instead of perform the way we expect it to.
Cool, go for it.
Thank you.
Judge, it really doesn't fall in finance too much unless somebody's asking for money, but we did promise to help and, provide signs and stuff like that, but I got a call actually from Newport, of all people, the other day, wanting to talk about the bicycle pass. And where were we, and had we done anything, because what they were saying, nothing's been done so far, we haven't made any progress. They're not pointing any fingers or anything, they just wanna know where are we, and are we still gonna, follow through with whatever it is that we're supposed to
It
do?
was about, almost a year ago to date.
That's kinda what brought it up, that was mentioned.
That I first went to RDOT, explained our history, and, explained where we thought we were going. I think there'll be more bicycle traffic on our roads as time goes on, and put a request in, and was, pretty much immediately turned down. I did get an email, I got 2 emails in the last, say, 2 weeks, one of them from, Justice McDonald. And I also had some photographs that went along with one of those, I don't think it was his, I think it was the other one. But showed a sign, and, well, let me step back, when I approached RDOT about it, it was like bicycle awareness, type signs, and he knew what I was talking about. But the photographs I've seen since then, one of them had said state law on it.
Oh, okay.
And so that got me kind of thinking in a different direction. I mean, if this bicycle safety along our highways, if there's a state law and these signs point to that, I do not know how, I think we could frame this in a different area with RDOT and maybe get this pushed through, because if it's a state law, I don't know why we couldn't put state laws on our highway, especially if things aren't working right now. And when I say not working, if we have, one death or injury, that we could prevent, then I think we need to do everything in our power to get out there.
I did see, so I was in Kerrville last week and they had approved a sign, it doesn't have anything about a state law, but it has like, you know, share the road with bicycles, or it has a bicycle on it, and they placed those.
Was it within the right of way?
Mhm.
Was it an RDOT,
It may have been, I just know that that was one of their projects that they were talking about, that they're in the process of completing, and they had an approved sign.
well, I will contact Green County and I'll see if I can gain some more information and we'll move forward.
Is the question regarding the hanging of the signs or the actual placement? We have to have permission to place the signs.
We have,
or not,
absolutely,
Right?
it's not, nothing about the money.
Because of the right of way.
Yeah, the county will fund, when I say the county, the road department will fund the sign.
Seemed like they were about, I think it was in the Justice McDonald's email, seemed like they were about $80 each. And there was a map, the email I got had a map where
I
they
saw the
represented,
map, yeah. I
Right.
think
there
there
were
was,
about 10 of them.
yeah, exactly. And probably depending on how elaborate you wanna be with the signage, the one I was referring to, I think had three, had an icon, state law, and then had, there was a message under it.
Yeah, it had a 3-foot clearance, one I
Yeah.
saw was orange and three, and then a message down below. I think that was from like Justice McDonald or somebody. I had 2 or 3 of that group contact me since in the last week or so. And you said Nucor had contacted you.
Yeah.
It's the year-long anniversary of that cycle accident.
That's correct.
That's what's kind of revived it.
Well,
We'll,
they said somebody almost got hit again the other day,
I think it was Jim's
but
birthday.
that's who I assumed it was when they said Jim.
he travels quite a bit.
He drives with
Yeah,
me.
I assumed it.
We'll certainly revisit it very quickly.
They called me, Nucor called me at work, and I saw it come up on caller ID, and I got all excited, thinking, hot dog, you know. Then they wanted my
They're really interested in getting it done, 'cause most of those guys that ride together are Nucor employees.
Well, and here's the thing, I mean, it's becoming more and more popular.
More and more popular.
And so we
Only
might
gonna
as
be
well
more
do it.
right there.
That's right, and as time passes, and I think it's the right thing to do.
Thank you, Judge, I appreciate you looking at that.
Glad to do it.
Absolutely. Coming out of the juvenile department today, Daryl just handed us some stuff. And I've been trying to quickly, review it before I throw it at him. Looks like the Administrative Office of Courts, which is the head office in Little Rock over the judicial system in the state. We're the second judicial district here in this state. And this is a, letter from the AOC, Supreme Court of Arkansas, to Judge Broadway, supplemental juvenile court funds. Judge Broadway, congratulations. The Administrative Office of Courts is pleased to award Mississippi County the amount of $30,000 for the fiscal year 2022 supplemental juvenile funding. Please find the check enclosed for the immediate use in accordance with the purposes specified in your application. And there's a copy of the $30,000 check attached to that. And then, request for proposals, that had to be received by June 1st. Overview, the AOC plans to distribute approximately $1.3 million to juvie courts across the state. Funds may be distributed to counties regardless of a court's other funding opportunities in FY 22. Each county requesting funding must complete and submit the attached funding proposal. Then second page, it shows, Circuit Judge Mary Broadway as the submittal, official. I'm just working my way through it very quickly, guys. This is part of 6 applications for the second judicial district totaling $164,000. 15,000 to Clay County, 4,000 to Craighead County, 52,500 to Crittenden County, 12,000 to Greene, 30,000 Mississippi County, and 15,000 Poinsett. Briefly describe how the county would use the requested funding under the provision of juvenile officer services. Much like the Senate bill, which will pay adult probation officers $5,000, our package will be for hazardous duty pay for juvenile officers who have worked through the pandemic. COVID pandemic has created extreme difficulties for duty officers and their ability to do their jobs. Officers have maintained the operations of their offices throughout these hazardous conditions. These funds will be twofold: to provide hazardous duty pay and to improve and keep morale high in the juvenile offices of the Second Judicial Juvenile Officers. There will be different levels of incentives. And I was gonna question that, and I'm glad to see the explanation. An officer employed before March 2020 will receive a $5,000 hazardous pay duty incentive. Officers employed between April 2020 and July 21 will get a $2,500 hazard duty pay incentive. And those employed after July 2021 will receive $1,000. So, Darryl, I'm gonna turn to you now and ask, does that work out? The $30,000 for us work out along that schedule?
Yes, it does, and it's in a payout sheet, it's, 5,000 for Richard, myself, Melinda, Denise, and Fontella, and 2,500 for Ashley, and Jessica.
So, Kelly, I'm gonna lean on you and Peggy just a minute now, so if they're paid, if we have $5,000 for Darryl, I'm gonna speak on Darryl because he's right here in front of us, so we check. If we receive $5,000 that we're to give Darryl, how do we do that is in regards to, taxes and retirement?
Well, we would have to pay, tax on retirement on it, so the 7.65% and then 16.32%.
So does that come out of the $5,000?
Well, it won't, unless it's allowed to, like if it's a grant, it will either say it's for that or not, I would think. And the reason I say that is the one that the sheriff's department is about to get, we are not to take that, the county portion out of it. You know, they get the whole amount, less what they are responsible for paying, so their acres, their taxes, the county has to pay that part, so it makes.
Leave that the same thing, probably. That's what you'd expect. Y'all understand what I'm talking about?
I do.
Just asking, I'd rather understand on the front end.
And this is a one-time payment, is it not? It doesn't become part of the salary schedule.
No, in fact, they spent the $30,000.
Yeah, I know I was kind of disappointed when I found out the governor's deal to law enforcement officers, I think it's a one-time deal. It's
Not a raise.
not a raise.
A bonus.
One time.
Well, how do we normally, do it? Like if we,
Just depends on the grant.
Well, I would assume since it's a flat dollar amount, that their expectation is that it doesn't include taxes, that's the net
Yeah.
bonus, and that we would have to gross up for the taxes, that's what I was saying. The expectation is.
It's an indirect mandate. We catch those quite often out of the state offices. We got the money. All we need is a motion to appropriate and make the payments, guys.
I move that we appropriate the $30,000, what you listed comes
Yes,
up
sir.
to the 30.
If you look at the thing sent by Chip, he sent us it, it said on number 4, the county treasurer issued a bonus that was after taking state and federal tax only.
so you can take
Yeah,
state and
they're actually
federal
out.
and then back out.
Which I like y'all proposal better, but this is the way it was written.
Yeah.
So, this is the way it
We'll just say you haven't paid it. So the county will pay the social security and Medicare, and the other will be deducted, correct? And retirement.
The one for the sheriff's department, I just looked back at my notes, they're actually giving us the employer share of, I think, the social security and Medicare, but not the acres. So I guess we need to check into that, you know, and see for sure, what do you know?
I guess if they're gonna send either this evening or later this week, the appropriation, how to appropriate all that.
Yeah, just,
They said
Let
that-
me-
yeah, it says that in line 3, that further directions regarding the appropriation.
Yeah, I mean, however we're supposed to, I think we should do it how they allow us to.
Yes.
They told me to let y'all give y'all his input anytime.
So do we need to make an appropriation right now for this next week or?
Well, if you want, if you want me just to get the numbers together, and so I can send them to Jay, once.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Once we know, I can just.
And then we can have further discussion in full court meeting, guys, is that okay with y'all?
Yeah.
So we need to move this to the full court, is that okay if we have a motion for that? In a second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second that we move this request, and proposal to the full court for its consideration based on the numbers that Darryl provides and, or the state, either one provides to Kelly and that Jake puts together in an appropriation for us. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Cool. Can you work with it like that, okay, Kelly? That's all I've got on my agenda. Judge, you got anything for us, sir?
I do, you have appropriated some money for lobbyists,
Yes.
consultants, and we were at the state level and the federal level. And during this process, which includes among other things, the Aeroplex and the Bible-Godstone Regional Airport Authority, they had made a request that we assist them with some needs about a fire truck. They've got one there on the Aeroplex that is a 1980 model, and it is beginning not to be reliable. It's in the shop a lot. So we have, and I say we, the staff of my office has gone to work to try to see if we can find a solution to that. And so I have some good news. So this is a letter that was written and submitted by Senator John Bozeman, Senator Tom Cotton, and Congressman Rick Crawford. And it won't take a second if I can read it. This is a colonel that's in the Pentagon. It says, we are writing to request assistance for the Bible-Godstone Airport Authority to receive a surplus military fire truck so that it may continue serving training needs for the U.S. Air Force. The Airport Authority has an agreement to support training operations such as touch and go, landings, takeoffs, airdrop, drop zone training, loading and unloading of cargo, new pilot training, night vision goggles training, and assault zone training. The airport has hosted Air Force One many times, and however, the recent loss of its 1980 military fire truck has restricted these activities. Officials of the Airport Authority are seeking an inexpensive or donated surplus military fire truck. This would allow them to continue their 80-year history of support for military operations in the region. We would appreciate your support and any information to help them in this effort. We're grateful for your leadership and the tremendous service of all of those under your command. It's our desire that these training operations continue in Arkansas, and we appreciate any assistance you can provide this request. Thank you for your consideration, and please keep us informed. So that was signed by all three of our representatives, and which is a pretty big deal. It took a long time to explain to everyone our needs, and then get them on board, and then put together a letter that they all sign. So we're grateful for that. We're making some headway there. It's a great need for that authority to have that fire truck, because the military plane will not land, and they make an average of over $100,000 a year just assisting them. For example, if let's just say there's a B-52s that want to do some operations here, they require not just fire trucks, but they require a whole lot then if Textron were to come in testing a possible, military aircraft, then their needs may be quite a bit lower. So they fall in different areas, but they do provide revenue for them, and it does keep and it helps the Air Force a lot. In fact, when the fire truck, went down, and I think this been a few months ago, it was right in the middle of B-52 loading and offloading, came in from Barksdale. So, there was a phone call made to Little Rock, to the Air Force Base there. They loaded a fire truck on a flatbed trailer, drove it all the way, here in Mississippi County. I think it stayed for 2 hours, then they turned around and loaded it back up and took it home. So, it's very much needed, and I think, we're certainly grateful to all of our representatives for getting on board.
No, I'm impressed with that.
Yeah.
Takes some
It's
work.
not easy getting everybody herded together, and that lobbyist deal, it has proved to be, and I think it's been, I think we're moving in the right direction on all of our activities, but it has been a tremendous amount of work. And, Tom can attest to that. We spend a great deal of time either preparing, we have weekly meetings, I say weekly, at least weekly meetings, sometimes we've had as many as 3 of them, which we have to prepare for before it, and then we're usually given assignments after it, and so, it has been a major part of our office.
Do you think we're moving in a good direction?
I'll tell you where we are, I think the only way to measure it is, because we ask these questions a lot to people assessing us, and on the federal level, they said we could not be in a better position. So, that doesn't mean why it looks like we're gonna be successful. I mean, we've made all the benchmarks up to now, and I don't think we expected to make all of them. We wanted to get as many as we could, and right now we're in a good position.
Just before you came in, I think we mentioned the fact that we had gotten our second, revenue replacement, or, what was the first? American Recovery Act, yeah.
Almost $4 million.
Yeah, so we've got that now available to us also. And I'd like to, just a personal thing, I can get you after the meeting, but I wish we could look at and explore the possibility of maybe helping some of our smaller communities with infrastructure that could be limiting to the Work Here, Live Here program, which I'd like to call a P&D meeting. Can you make Thursday at 1 o'clock? Maybe? We've got some pretty neat things coming down the pipe. And one of them regards Work Here, Live Here. We've got a commitment.
Yes, Thursday at 1 o'clock?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cindy, can you go with that maybe?
We started at 1 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am. I think we've had our first honest commitment from one of our major industries towards Work Here, Live Here.
I'm under the same impression.
And,
Just as well at 1 or 1:30.
1. There's a, site visit gonna happen at 4, and I just wanna make sure there's plenty of time. So let's try to make this one at 1 o'clock if we can, guys. But one of our limiting factors with Work Here, Live Here is truly gonna be where can they build homes, and infrastructure that's available. Honorail, Gosnell, I mean, I know of a new division right now that's wanting to go to Gosnell, but there's some limitations involving, and Manila's no better, you know? So I would just like to ask that maybe your committee, y'all would explore that possibility at some point in the future. And that would but just
No, I think that's a good idea.
to start that ball rolling, if it would really help and work in conjunction with Work Here, Live Here, I think that would be something worth at least looking at. May not can, I don't know, I have no idea. So, okay.
I'd like to add to that,
Yes, sir.
on our state, level lobbyists, we are working with them in a number of different, cities in the county to assist them in their infrastructure and their growth. Currently, we are working with, Manila,
Burdette.
Kaiser, and Luxor. I believe those 4 right now. And coincidentally, you brought it up. We are meeting with the Mullinax firm at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, just about this issue. And we've spoken a number of times about, meeting those needs, which if you read all of the material that comes out with the grants, almost everything is tied to drinking water, which led me to the fact this would be a very easy, well, it hasn't been. So, lot of work later. It does look like it may be successful. I'll know more tomorrow after that meeting. I believe all those mayors, I think, are invited. I know there's gonna be several people there. And, it was brought up to us, I say us, to my staff at the office, that would there be a possibility that we could help with the Henry.
So there's a grant program, it's a federal grant, going through the Natural Resource Commission. That would go towards doing some of this infrastructure that we're talking about, and it's cost share. And so the recommendation that we're trying to get information about would be, that either the communities, if they have some, or the county might want to use some of the ARP money as the seed for that. And so also the more shovel ready they are, they go to the top. And so that's something that we're working on the process right now. We've already reached out to communities that got the info, the latest. And so that kind of goes along with what y'all was talking about. Maybe that might be something we want to do when we get that buttoned down a little bit.
Great.
Provide the matching funds or whatever.
Thinking Justice McDonald, you mentioned that too, about making sure that somebody match something in case we need to help. I think that's a great idea too.
Kind of all meshing together.
And, you know, y'all are certainly well, I wished I'd have given you more, time to work with, if y'all are able to make it and be at the college.
Do you know if anybody from Manila's coming? Have you gotten any response, Mr. Henry?
To that meeting, there was somebody.
That meeting tomorrow with Mullinax.
I don't know who's coming to that. Do you?
I cannot come up with it off the top of my head, but I do know there was scheduling problems because there was so many people involved to try to get it on one day.
Manila's mayor's not been well.
I have spoken with his family, I've spoken with him, but I assume there's gonna be a representative there. Now that's brought to my attention. I'll see if I can reach out and find out, make sure that they've got someone.
Okay.
But we do have their latest information on their needs. They're struggling with their growth and their water facility.
Oh, I tell you, yeah. We've been talking about that.
Yep, exactly.
That was
Elected officials, y'all got anything for us?
All looks good in my office.
So, I spoke with you guys the other week about Mr. Mike Patty coming to demonstrate, I don't know if he's gonna
Yes, ma'am.
actually do any books in front of us, but he's gonna come and show us what he can do for our books, but I just need a date to give him.
Do you know what she's talking about, Judge?
I do.
Today's the 20th of June, maybe either the first or second week of July. You know, something like the 6th, 7th of July, that'd be Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
see
we-
it sooner rather than later, especially once we do start the, budget,
Right.
so, cause then we're meeting so
Yeah.
much.
Could, the 6th is not as good as the 7th or 8th maybe?
7th,
I can do the third. I'll be back
can you
on
do
vacation.
7th?
Yeah, I fly back in on the sixth, so I can do it.
Judge, does 7th sound reasonable to you?
Yes.
I can't do the 8th, I can do the 7th.
Okay, let's shoot for the 7th then, Ms. Curry.
1 o'clock,
Be fine?
okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Ms. Peggy? Nothing.
I do have one question. I have not had a chance to talk with you. I know you did the first reporting for the ARP money. Is that right? Did that, how did, Ben, how did he do? That's what I guess.
Oh, news is good news.
Well, that's,
Oh.
that's kind of in my mind what I thought. I thought, well, I haven't heard anything, so I guess it just.
I mean, I just got, an email from him that it was all done and taken care of and what, we haven't gotten any bill or anything.
So we so he felt like everything we had used the money for was good?
Yeah.
Okay,
Appropriate so far.
good deal. All right.
Ice is getting thicker.
I'm gonna jump in one, because you mentioned him, made me think, the idea of using the seed money, I called the consultant to see if that's okay. So it's
Okay.
federal money with federal money, and they were very helpful. And originally I talked to the one, can't think of his name, the main guy, and I got passed off to Ben. Ben seemed to be very helpful, and he said it would be fine,
Okay.
so.
Good deal. All right.
Little different change of subject, but just for informational purposes. The landfill received a reimbursement of $54,155.10 from Mr. Will Allen.
Seriously?
Seriously. Never expected to get a dime.
That was court mandated.
That's impressive.
Still
It's
impressive.
all over
When you get court mandated, that's, a lot of times you
I
can
think
do
that
it.
That's
includes all
impressive.
three of
That
those.
would- Yeah.
I don't know, I just glad to get it.
Wow.
I didn't get anything.
I didn't either. Wow.
There was three individuals involved.
Sure was.
Yeah, I think it was from all three.
Okay. Wow.
Nice.
You what?
Justice is served.
That helped our balance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kelly, you got anything, huh? Are we
Apparently.
missing anything? You how long you need for Jacob? As far as you know?
Did we mention, did Jacob find some help on his?
Judge, do you know, did Jacob find any help, or Mr. Henry, did Jacob find any help with that,
So Jacob, knew that Pulaski County has something like this.
right?
He reached out to them and found out that it was CAS. I can't remember what that stands for. And that they were that we actually have an account with them, and that they were going to be coming up with the paperwork and sending it to us.
That's familiar
And-
to me, CAS is familiar.
Consolidated Administrative Services. I think
Yeah.
that's- And I think he was estimating the cost would be like $500 to $1,000 for them to do that.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Anything else, Judge?
That's all I have for today.
JP, anybody? Guys, appreciate everybody coming, thank you for your time, we'll call the meeting adjourned, thank you.